my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen. Make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in, then break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the shower. Part two, break you in, then. Yeah, that's every day.
From the Rockville campus of Montgomery College Television presents NJCAA Men's Soccer with this beautiful shot from the drone above the Rockville campus soccer complex here. The Montgomery College Raptors welcome in the Monroe Community College Tribunes in what should be an excellent NJCAA Division I soccer match today. And it is my pleasure to be joined today by two former MC soccer players. On my right, I've got Sonia Rada, and on my left, I've got Andre Anderson. So I am surrounded here by soccer experts, both of them, as I said, former players from Montgomery College. Sonia, welcome, and what do you think about today's match?
Thanks, Michael. Well, first of all, it's a beautiful day to play. This is going to be a great matchup. The Raptors played yesterday, so this is a good time to see how their depth on their bench is, and I think it's going to be a great match.
Andre, your thoughts?
The sun is out, so it's going to be a very game played in very good conditions. No rain, not much clouds in the sky, so it's a beautiful day for soccer.
It is indeed, and we're going to meet the starters for both teams. For the visitors from Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York, their starters are number 1 in goal, Damian Bowler. Number 2, Sasha Snyder. Number 3, Anton Kelly. Number 5, Aishu Nishizono. Number 6, Sean Dickey. Number 7, and their leading scorer, Brandon Johnson. Number 10, Mohammed Suhail. Number 11, Liam Cowie. Number 14, Ilya Mikolati. And number 23, Dimitrios Kiraazis. Their head coach is Craig Dewar. Craig is in his 4th season at Monroe Community College. His assistants are Marcelo Mariah and Mike Karapides. Starters for Montgomery College, and there we get a good look at the Raptors coaches, so we might as well introduce them first. On the right, Pedro Braz. Next to him is the goalkeeping coach, Kareem Mumban. Next to him, Scott Payne, and finally, Isaac Mensa Yabo. Those are the coaches for the Raptors. Starters for the Raptors. In goal, number 1, Thomas Morrow. Number 3, Yosuke Ono. Number 5, Brian Newchang. Number 6, Andreas de Castro Sanchez. Number 8, Joao Ribeiro. Number 12, Jason Guevara. Number 14, and the leading scorer for the Raptors, Carl Romberg. Number 20, Andres Rojas. Number 23, Ish Singh. And number 33, Amadou Koita. So these two teams have a history, even though they are quite a distance apart. They had a very fateful meeting last season in the semifinals of the district championships, and the Raptors came out on top in that one, Sonia, 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. So, this is going to be a good matchup as well to see how both teams are doing this year. Monroe Community College is 6-0-1, and the Raptors are 8-3-1.
And Andre, also Monroe is currently ranked number 20 in the NJCAA top 20.
Yeah, so this is a great game for MC to come out here from the beginning, put their presence on this team, show them that even though MC is no longer ranked in the top 20, that they deserve to be back in the rankings. A win here could really, possibly get them back there.
Oh, I think it would. I think a win here today, coming off their big win yesterday over Hagerstown, another Division I opponent. They just absolutely dominated that one with an 8-0 win over Hagerstown. So
I think it was actually 10.
10.
Yeah, 10.
Okay, 10-0.
You lose track after a certain point.
I'm sure the Raptors didn't lose track, and Hagerstown may have wanted to lose track.
Yeah.
So here come the Raptors out on the field, and we just have to comment on this absolutely gorgeous drone shot that we used to open our broadcast, and look at it here. It's just these shots just blow me away.
They're amazing. I mean, I have a smile on my face just looking at it. It's incredible.
It really is. MCTV just keeps upping the ante, keeps improving. I'll tell you one thing. There is no such thing as complacency when it comes to MC television production. That is for sure. So we are underway. And Monroe will be wearing the gray-black uniforms with the yellow numbers. The Raptors in white with their purple numerals. And we are underway. Two of the top teams in all of Division I soccer. This is going to be a great match for both of them.
And I think it's a good test. We were mentioning that the Raptors just got out of the poll. They were ranked 19th, and now they're out. And, sometimes that can be a good thing. It can push you a little bit more because it puts a little chip on your shoulder. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what MC has to bring to this game today.
Well, I think the reason that they fell out was because they took a trip to Texas, right, Andre? And they played one of the top Division I programs in the country, Tyler, Texas. And you went on that trip with them.
Yeah, I was actually over there, and MC played a very good game. It was a difficult game. Tyler's very good. I believe they're ranked in the top 10 in the country, or just a little bit out if they're not in the top 10. But MC fought from the beginning. 2 goals were let in kind of, I wouldn't say unexpectedly, but they're kind of cheap goals to give away. But other than that, they played well. They put on the pressure. And Tyler, actually, after the game, they were very surprised by – a lot of the coaches were actually saying, we didn't expect you guys to beat this good. It's like, well, we're Montgomery College. We're going to be good in everything.
That's right. The Raptors went to Nationals last year. As we mentioned earlier, they knocked off this very same Monroe team in the district semifinals. And then they went on the following week to win the districts by beating Monroe College. So it gets a little confusing. This is Monroe Community College, who they beat in the district semis last year, and then they went on to defeat Monroe College in the district finals to advance to nationals. So
yeah, I think it makes it even more confusing that they're both from New York, right?
They're both from New York. Yeah. Even though they are from different, vastly different areas of New York. As we said, the Tribunes are from Rochester, and Monroe College is from the Bronx.
That was good pressure there by Amadou. One thing about Amadou that you're seeing compared to the other players is he's very tall. He's a very tall and lean player. He's about 6'3", I would say. He would maybe say he's 6'5" because who doesn't want to add on the extra inches? But he's a very tall player, athletic, and he's very fast as well. So keep an eye out for those long balls over the top, and Amadou looking to get on the end of those and score some goals.
Well, he's been coming on strong of late, and he's got 4 goals now on the season. So he's been coming on with his scoring. And he's just a freshman, so, he's still learning the game at this level.
Yeah, and actually a quick fun fact about Amadou. After speaking with him and just learning a little bit about him, he said he actually tried out as a center back, and he made the team, and, he was playing in the center back position. But there are two studs for MC playing center back, Ish and Brian. In one game, he said Coach Pedro put him up top, and he actually scored a goal that game, and ever since then he's been a forward.
Well, he looks like a guy who would be a center back.
Yeah.
A lot of center backs are tall and lean, and he has that look. But, boy, what a weapon he could be on the offensive end. I'm thinking on corners, and like you said, he's very fast, so he can run down that long ball, catch up to that through ball.
Those two positions, even though they seem, and they're obviously on opposite ends of the field, but a lot of times you see that intersect because, a center back needs to be fast, a forward needs to be fast, right? And obviously a height and size helps for a center back, but it also can cause a lot of problems on the opposite end. So that's why a lot of times you see people are able to interchange in those positions. Obviously, you need to have a lot of composure up top as well to be a finisher. Whereas in the back, maybe you just need to be better on your feet and just be able to distribute. But still, your teammates rely on you in the back, so you need to be on point as well.
All excellent points and all true. And, again, I think he could be a real weapon and a good compliment. Of course, the number one scorer for the Raptors so far this season is number 14 out there. Carl Romberg. Carl with 17 goals on the season, leads the Raptors. As a matter of fact, he's tied for first in the country with 17 goals. Somehow, weirdly, he's in second in Maryland JUCO, but that's because Maryland JUCO, of course, encompasses Divisions 1, 2, and 3, so they don't separate them when it comes to stats in Maryland JUCO by division.
Yeah, but Carl Romberg, number 14, you see him playing that like number 10 role, which is usually the maestro role, or the playmaker. Did I say that right, Sonia?
Yes,
Sonia?
maestro.
Yeah, maestro.
There you
got to
go.
roll the R's
Perfect.
a little bit. There you go. But
It's in you. It's in you.
But the number 10 role, and he's a playmaker, but he's also getting up there as a forward and scoring the goals. So, oh, wow, a little collision. But, yeah, he's a very good player.
Thomas Morrow there with a nice kick. However, it goes out of bounds, and it'll go back over to the Tribunes.
And I kind of like that Morrow took an extra touch there, getting his touches on the ball early. We spoke about that last time, how important it is to have a goalie that can use their feet. And, you can see the confidence that he has. Any other, well, not necessarily any other keeper, but maybe another keeper that's not as confident would have just kicked that right out first time. So I see that MC's back line and their goalie, they're really trying to possess the ball a little bit. That's good to get that foundation going in the first parts of the game.
Well, Morrow's had a very good season. He's third in Maryland JUCO, and there's a little bit of a situation that he just cleaned up.
Yeah, that could have been
a lot worse. That could have been a disaster.
Oh, yeah, that was a great ball over the top by Brandon Johnson. But that finish was quite off. But still, I mean, that could have been a problem.
The Raptors on the attack.
Yeah, look at the strength by Koita.
Yeah, and that was a perfectly – look at him.
Oh, they called handball.
Handball.
But
Yeah.
you're seeing his strength and athleticism up there.
Yeah,
And
he
MC's
is
back line's looking for him. We've had maybe 2 or 3 opportunities already that sometimes the ball, they kind of just floated up there, but he's able to make something of it.
And he's also a bit of an anomaly considering how international both these rosters are. Amadou is from Silver Spring. He went to Kennedy High School, so he's a local product. Both of these teams feature a heavily international roster. I had a chance to talk to Craig Dewar, the head coach for Monroe, just a little bit before the game, and he is from Scotland. And so I said, oh, well, that explains a lot because on his roster he's got several players from Scotland, a handful from England, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Italy, Peru, Brazil, Japan. I mean, they're all over.
Everywhere.
Greece.
Wow.
Greece.
Don't forget New York now.
And he does have a couple of players from New York.
Ooh, that was close.
But the Raptors are similarly international with players from Cameroon and Brazil and Germany and Canada and Japan, Italy.
Colombia.
So,
One Colombian. I think.
yep, one Colombian. That's near and dear to Sonia's heart. So, yeah, I am surrounded here, folks, by two former captains from the Raptors. And both were excellent players who I enjoyed covering in my days covering athletics here on a regular basis. Gave me a lot of moments of enjoyment. Here we go, Raptors.
Finish
Good
that.
luck. Oh! Koita set up Romberg, and Romberg was just wide with the shot.
They seem to have a good partnership up top. What do you think, Sonia?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of wish that Romberg would have let that come across his body a little bit more because it closed his angle, and that's why it went inside or left of the post. But
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It was a good setup.
Maybe just a little anxious there.
Possibly, yes.
Raptors trying to put the pressure on, trying to keep the ball down in their end. Monroe comes into this one undefeated. They are 6-0-1. They had an unblemished record until last week when they tied Mohawk Valley 1-1. So they have yet to be defeated this year, and they can really score the ball. They're averaging almost 7 goals a game, 6.71 goals a game.
That's a lot of goals.
Yeah.
That is a lot of goals. 47 goals in 7 matches.
Makes sense. Well, they haven't lost yet.
Yeah. And their defense has been excellent as well. Their starting keeper, Bolin, has a .47 goals against average. He's only allowed 3 goals all season. But again, the Raptors have played several more games. So the stats are interesting. They're not exactly comparable.
At the end of the day, when playoffs come around, it's who can do it. It doesn't matter what you did in the past, right? It's who can do it in that moment on that day.
Absolutely.
Great combination there.
Oh, that was pretty. Raptors on the attack.
Ooh.
Romberg tried one from outside the box.
Gooley was off his line as well. That could have been interesting.
Lucky, well, not lucky, but a big save there by the defender for
Corner kick.
Monroe. That'll set up a corner for the Raptors. Let's see who's going to take it. We're in the first half of play. Here's a good look at Damian Bowler, the keeper for Monroe. He is from Haydn, Switzerland. And this will set up a corner for the Raptors. Cannot make out the number.
It's Guevara, number 12.
Number 12. Jason Guevara.
Can't mistake those bright cleats.
Yeah.
Wow, great turn.
Oh.
That almost needs to be, unless it was blocked up into the air. I was going to say that was a great turn, but that needs to be almost like a pass, diagonally back on the ground so that someone can just tap it in.
Yeah, that would have been an easy tap, and that's actually what I thought he was going to do. But
Yeah.
sometimes when you're under that pressure, it's harder.
So here comes
easier for
Guevara
us,
again.
right?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been out there.
Different look.
Oh.
That'll be a goal kick for Monroe. That one didn't go anywhere.
I think Monroe was prepared for that one. That's a set play
Yeah.
that MC practices, and when it doesn't work, he tried to improvise a little bit, but Monroe was ready.
The pressure's on from MC as well right now. You're seeing that the ball is living. That's a foul. The ball is living in this half. Most of the time that the ball has been in the MC's half, there was that one opportunity, but other than that, Thomas, the goalkeeper, Morrow, has been really doing nothing.
No, he's a spectator right now. Of course, that can change in a split second. We see it all the time in this sport. One of the beauties of it. And there's those flashy Guevara cleats.
Good job. Okay.
Sanchez with a
Missed attempt.
missed attempt.
I think he was trying to put Koita in, but
Yeah.
it just went a little bit too far.
You're going to want to keep the pressure going. You see how high the back line is right here. They're at the midfield line.
Yeah.
They want to keep this, packed in. They want to keep this in their half. Can they win it?
New Chang won that one.
And now you squeeze and you pressure. There it is. Jason needs to win this, and he does.
He does. Loose ball. A lot of, people who say soccer is not a contact sport
Yeah.
have never played soccer.
Who says that? I've never heard that one.
Well, it's American thinking,
Okay.
because they're used to American football,
which is
with the pads
most
and the
definitely a
shoulder
contact.
pads and the helmets.
Yeah.
And, these guys are just out there with no protection, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even consider what, the American football, that is more than contact. That is,
It's kind of like gladiator sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think rugby's worse.
Oh, rugby's
oh,
bad
I
too.
think so too.
I have so much respect for rugby players.
Because they don't wear anything.
Yeah.
They don't. They wear a uniform.
Oh,
but-
wow. Good cut. Good finish.
Oh, Robert. Oh. Whew.
That's some great individual skill by
Yeah.
Romberg.
Chest over the ball a little bit when he takes that shot to maybe keep it down a bit.
Just high. So he's been close now on two shot attempts, and the keeper Bowler is not particularly tall, so maybe an opportunity there, and that's what Romberg was going for. Top shelf.
Good win.
That's Guevara. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was Romberg.
I think that was Rojas, no?
Yeah, Andres.
Was it?
Yeah, Rojas. So he's one of the smaller individuals on the field, and he had a good header there. And MC is shooting from anywhere right now. 25 yards out. I mean.
Meanwhile, they're playing a defense that has really been very, very stingy. They've allowed less than half a goal a game.
Wow.
So perhaps they saw something.
I think MC's doing a good job of putting the pressure on to not make them feel comfortable playing out of the back. You see the goalie playing long every time, and, MC's winning it right back. So I think that's working in MC's favor.
Guevara to Singh. Is Singh one of the captains for the Raptors? To another captain of the Raptors, Brian Newchang. For the Raptors, the green band on the arm
great
designates them as a captain. That was a beauty. And we've got a
I don't think that's a foul.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That was a very ticky-tack call. I'm not sure. I guess there was some contact there, but it certainly wasn't egregious.
No, yeah, I mean, you're seeing even on the screen right here, Amadou Koita, he was the one that actually, the guy bumped into him and fell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're seeing right here on the replay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Amadou did there.
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
And that's exactly what he told the referee.
Oh.
Okay, now here's an opportunity for Monroe. And, woo,
That was on frame.
that was on frame is right. That was Ogawa with the shot. And, man, Morrow had to be sure-handed there, and he was. Going to take another look. Boom.
I
Good
think
positioning.
MC needs to be careful, like you were saying, Michael, earlier. In any second, the game could change, and right now the Raptors have more of the ball, but you saw there three of Monroe's players pressured Guevara in the back, and it led to that attack. So they have to be careful not to give up anything easy. Well, not necessarily easy, but just on the counter.
But now Monroe possessing.
Yeah, they're switching roles now. Now they're holding the ball in MC's half, moving it back and forth, and this is something they're not. They got to be careful now. That back line, basically, when that ball is played from a center midfielder over to that right-hand side or the left-hand side, and then that ball is dropped back, the back line has to step up as quick as possible. Because that shot, for instance, you don't want that to happen. So it's like you want that back line to step up as quick as possible, and then you want, the legs out to try to block the shot or whatnot, rather than them just kind of sitting and letting him take a shot from 25 yards out. It was a bad shot, but, you never know. The next one could be
On point.
exactly.
Yeah. So, of course, we have a continuous clock here. We did not get any word whether or not they were going to take a hydration break. So I'm guessing it may not be hot enough,
Probably not.
even though for early October it's fairly warm.
Oh, yeah.
And Minhas is in the game now. It's a center mid change.
Daniel Minhouse got 2 goals and 2 assists on the season. He's been a strong contributor for the Raptors this year.
A little bit of a position change for him. I haven't really seen him play in the midfield all season, or at least the center midfield position all season. Shows his versatility.
MC's not necessarily possessing or winning the midfield. Well, the ball hasn't really been played in the midfield, so maybe Coach Browse is looking for someone to hold the ball a little bit more, gain a little bit of control of the game.
Oh, no. To Guevara.
And too much.
Too much on that one. It'll go back over to the Raptors.
Now let's keep the ball. Let's possess it. Let's move it. I think that's what MC should be looking to do right now. As the game kind of went to like a stalemate of 50-50% possession rather than it being what it was earlier, which was MC dominating.
Yeah. And MC had several opportunities, have yet to convert. Neither team has converted, of course. There's Ish Singh with an aggressive move. But that'll set up a goal kick for Monroe. These two teams could very well meet again later this season in the districts. And believe it or not, the regular season is going by rather quickly. If I'm not mistaken, the Raptors with just 3 more regular season matches.
Wow.
It's crazy. Once October hits, I feel like it goes so fast.
Yeah. The year's going by fast. I mean, It's like, every time I blink, I feel like it's like another holiday season, another Christmas. I'm like, oh, man.
Halloween is coming up.
Halloween, uh-oh.
Do you have a costume?
Hopefully not. Let's put it that way. Because what I've been hearing from the girlfriend is this costume, that costume. I don't know. I don't know about that.
How about you, Michael?
I'm not a costume guy. How about you, Sonia?
I don't have anything planned yet, but I do like Halloween, and I like, at least before, I used to like making my costume, but haven't done that in a while.
Okay. What was your last costume or character you were?
I made a Bowser costume, which was
nice.
It was really, I don't know if it looked exactly like Bowser, but at least it was creative and it gave me something to do.
Okay. Very nice. And then go to Halloween candy.
I'm not much of a candy person.
Uh-oh.
Raptor. Ooh. Oh, no, just a little late getting there.
I'll probably be the person handing out fruit on Halloween. Everyone says don't go to that house.
Yeah, I was like, I'll make sure not to show up to your house.
Stay away from the Rada house.
Yeah.
She's giving out healthy stuff.
Or give out a toothbrush to help with all the candy.
Little sample tube of toothpaste.
Yeah.
It's actually a good idea.
It's not bad.
Yeah, like I said, I will not be showing up to. But I do want to comment on Brian Newchang's his ball distribution so far out the back has been very good. It's been very good.
The back line hasn't been tested too much yet, but he has done very well. Good touches on the ball.
Singh to Romberg to Guevara. He's been aggressive today.
He has. Oh, that's a foul.
Ooh, that's got
Or not. Wow.
No call.
I didn't think that was a foul.
Oh, yeah?
I think that was a good defensive play. Put his body in front of it, but I'm also biased. I don't think anything's a foul.
Well, I do have two defense players on both sides of me here. Both you guys were on the back line, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have a lot in common.
I feel sometimes for the midfielders and forwards. Sometimes they don't get the calls and things like that. And as a defender, I'm like, oh, nothing is a call. It could be definitely a bad tackle. But as a defender, you're like, what? That's not a foul. But sometimes, you do foul a player and then they don't get the call. And in your head, I'm like, yeah. But then I'm like, I do feel bad for you sometimes.
Good look there at Daniel Minhas. He's from Canada.
And Booth just checked in the game.
Oh, Nathan Booth, a freshman out of Einstein High School, has just checked in for the Raptors. Number 2. Nathan's easy to spot. He has a distinctive hairstyle.
Yeah.
His thing covering a lot of ground there.
It's a little out of position right now.
He's getting back.
And Monroe, they're possessing it.
Yeah, they are.
They're
They're some nice passing here.
Someone has to step. See, that's the part I'm talking about. They need to step a little bit more. As the back line, they're just kind of hanging back there rather than stepping up and trying to win that ball back.
And Raptors win
man.
it back, but then they
Bad
give it
pass.
away right away. No score and the clock winding down here in the first half. Got just about 16 minutes to go. Both teams have had a couple of nice opportunities, but no one has been able to convert. And we have one more match on the MCTV soccer schedule for the season. That'll be next week. We'll be back out here on Thursday, a week from today, covering the Raptors women's team.
They've been having a good season themselves.
Excellent season.
It's really fun watching them play. They have good players. They move the ball, score a lot of goals as well, which is also a lot of fun to watch.
And we also have plans to MCTV also has plans to do a good chunk of basketball games starting in November. So looking forward to that.
Good job.
Monroe has yet to come up with a corner. Raptors have had a couple corners.
Oh, good job by Brian being in the right place right there.
Yeah, he stopped that attack there by Morrell.
Swing the ball. They got to swing it quick. There you go. Come on.
Guevara.
Great ball over the top.
Down to Booth.
Oh.
Offsides. And that'll turn the ball back over to Monroe.
So I have a little question.
Yes.
So, Monroe Community College Tribunes.
Yes.
What is a Tribune?
A Tribune is a Roman soldier.
Okay. You were right. Sonny was right.
I mean, I cheated a little bit because I looked at the picture of the mascot. I'll be honest.
The mascot, as you can see on the upper corner of your screen right now, is a Tribune decked out in his battle helmet. But I knew that quiz was coming. I just knew it.
What's a raptor? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of people think a raptor is a dinosaur, but it is not. A raptor is an avian. It is a bird of prey. And today the Raptors are hoping to feast on the Tribunes.
Yeah. That would be one dinner,
That'd be quite a dinner.
Yeah.
And I know
Quite a catch.
head coach Pedro Braz would love nothing better.
Yeah.
Pedro is in his second stint here at Montgomery College. He coached back in the early he had one stint here for 3 seasons, took the team to nationals every year, and Andre played during his first tenure here. Then he left and was head coach at Gallaudet University for several seasons, and then returned a couple of years ago to Montgomery College. And as a matter of fact, recently just won his 100th game as a head coach here at Montgomery College.
Very impressive.
Terrific guy, runs a terrific program, an excellent coach. And of course, he has played professionally, played in college at Vermont.
University of
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Played for his country of Angola.
Right.
So he's played all levels, top levels, coached at, all levels, top levels. Definitely the best coach I've had, and for sure one of the most serious as well. He's a great guy. Paige and I have a really good friendship as well, especially now. But when I was a player, oh, man. You know, he can be very serious, but that's what you want out of your coach. You know,
Yeah.
it's you don't want someone who's going to joke around all the time and just lollygag, haha, joke and laughs. It's like
They're not going to last long
no,
because the players are going to run over them.
exactly. You want someone who you respect and someone that knows what they're talking about, and that's exactly who Coach Pedro is.
And people want to be challenged.
Exactly.
I think you really embrace when you're challenged and can overcome something with a group. So I think that's.
So a deep throw in for the Raptors. Good look at Jason Guevara there. He gets it in. Oh, but it goes right back out of bounds. And Monroe with the ball. Get ahead to Nathan Booth. And he maintains possession nicely. Across the field. And they're going to call a foul on the Raptors. On Cesare Biaggi.
Yeah.
He didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
I know that's a surprise to both of you.
I don't think any time in any sport that you commit a foul that you think you've committed that foul.
No.
Even if it's a foul that was just so blatant.
We see it in everything. You know, a guy is never out of second base when he tries to steal.
Yeah.
You know. The football player never clips the guy.
Yeah, never holds them.
Never holds. Yep. Basketball, of course, nobody's ever committed a foul.
Oh, ever.
You
ever.
know. Here comes the Raptors. Looks like they had something set up there. So the same is true for soccer. But so far, this has been a very clean match.
It has. It has no, over-the-line tackles or fouls.
No chippiness at all that
None.
I've seen. Two good teams keeping their heads in the game. And that clock is running down on the first half. We're scoreless.
I know both teams would want a goal now.
Oh, nothing. There'd be nothing better for one of them to score here.
Yeah.
Go into the half with a lead.
And I always have this theory I'll at least say in soccer, and it was one my dad always used to tell me, and it was that, teams usually give up goals the most at the end of the first half and towards the end of the game. And then I was asking why. Why is that the case, Dad? And he said, well, that's usually when teams are the most tired, You've been playing for 45 minutes or so. You've been running. You've been hustling. And then on top of that, you do see the clock and how it is winding down, and you're getting closer to that halftime break or the end of the game. So you kind of like switch off for a second. But the thing is in soccer is you can't switch off for a second ever.
No.
So that's usually when we end up seeing goals around this time. So let's see if my father's theory was right or if he was just lying to me.
No, I think your dad was being straight, and it just depends on the will of these two defenses.
I think the most important, though, even though getting a goal before the half is very important and can, shift the momentum, most important is to not give up a goal.
Yeah.
Because it's 0-0, and if both teams go in that way, you come out and it's as if it's the beginning of the game again. So it's more lethal, I believe, to
give one up.
To give one up versus scoring one.
Kind of deflating after having, played so well, and then there's that momentary lapse or whatever. Now that had to be a foul.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
No way. No, I'm just kidding.
And it was.
And that should be a yellow card.
It
Kind
should.
of. But in
Yeah,
the
I'm not
defense
sure.
of Monroe player, he wasn't even looking. He was, I believe, tying his shoe or something.
That was Ogawa, who has had the best opportunity of the match so far for Monroe. But Mara was there to stop his shot. So this is Jason Guevara again, who's not been out of the match yet. Neither team is doing a lot of substituting at the moment. Although Amadou Koita is out for the Raptors. Booth is in for him. Everybody up for the Raptors except for, of course, the keeper Morrow. This is a set piece here. Let's see what they come up with.
That needs to be a better service. And I know Jason has a clinical left foot, so that needs to be a little bit better.
Minhas has brought a lot of good energy as soon as he came in, and you can see the effort that he just put in to keep that ball in. Those are things that any coach loves to see from their players.
So let's see, is Ish or Jason's going to take it again?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good way to redeem yourself. Better service here.
So who's going to take it? Singh or Guevara?
I'm going to guess Singh.
Then I'll guess Guevara.
And we're going to see.
Are we going to bet one of these tremendous Granny Smith apples that I have in front of me?
Oh, that is high stakes.
Yeah, there we go. We can't, this is.
I mean, if you're betting Granny Smith apples on this, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're going for the moon.
Oh.
Guevara. Oh. Brian Newchang almost came up with it.
That was a much better cross, too, because it actually made it over the defenders into a difficult position for the goalie.
Yeah, the keeper had his work cut out there. Newchang almost put that one in. Good look at it. Down to just about the 5-minute mark. Still scoreless. And you don't want to go anywhere for halftime. We've got something special coming up for you at halftime. We'll let you know on that in just a couple of minutes. But if you're a soccer fan, why else would you be watching this match if you weren't? Halftime is going to be of interest to you.
Okay. So about 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. Ball's out of bounds. See, the mistakes are starting to kick in a little bit.
Yeah, teams are a little bit tired. And again, neither team has gone to their bench all that often.
No, that's the one interesting thing about soccer, especially at the professional level, how that you're only allowed to. Well, that's actually a new rule now. Is it 5 now, Sonia, or is it?
Yes, after COVID, they changed the rule to 5. They allow 5 substitutions.
5 now.
Before it used to be 3.
Yeah, it was only 3, and I used to love that, to be honest. Only 3 people are allowed to sub in per game because it shows the fitness of a player, and you have to be 90-minute fit because they only can make 3 subs. Oh, that's a good spot to get the ball.
That is a very good spot.
Just a raise there.
And
great defense.
Biaggi got it out.
That's not a foul. Okay,
no.
Good. They're going to say high kick maybe, but good job by the ref. And MC gives it away.
Monroe pressing here. They're trying to prove your dad correct.
I know.
Andre.
You know what I'll say is.
There's a foul.
Even if it doesn't, deemed to be true today.
I think more often than not you are correct. I've seen it many times, and of course you guys, I'm sure, have, having played the sport.
No, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. It's a handball.
And it'll go over to Monroe. Well, this is kind of what we expected. Two of the best teams at the D1 level in the NJCAA going at it, and it's really been a tight match.
Yeah, both teams, I feel neither one has really settled into the game and imposed their own style. I think both teams have been pushed out of their style a bit, and they've had moments, but it's just kind of been up in the air for either team at this point.
Wu Chang tried to get it to Booth.
It's a good ball. Oh, no, it's not. It's a good attempt.
Good attempt.
It's just there.
Takes care of it.
Oof.
Monroe gets it right back, though. Oh,
Nice little build up. And then once again, shot was there, off target, but Monroe's showing a little something as well.
I like Monroe's patience in the final third. I think they do a good job of not necessarily immediately attacking, but finding a couple extra passes, and they just haven't been able to generate anything from it, but you can see that they have a certain style of play that they're trying to impose.
yes. Yeah, I would agree. They're a little more patient down low. We are under a minute now.
Ooh, good leap by Brian. He's a very athletic center back.
And he is tall. Out of Paint Branch High School, one of the captains for the Raptors. And clock winding down. Looks like we're going to be scoreless at the half. Unless something sudden happens, which you can never rule out.
You have to knock on wood, Michael.
I know.
I'm knocking.
I just knocked on my
Oh,
and we almost had a foul in the box. Didn't.
That's a professional foul. He knew he was outside of the box, or else I don't think he would have been that blatant with it.
So
Yeah.
there's 2 seconds on the clock. And that is a foul. So this is going to give an opportunity here for
3 seconds.
put an extra second back on the board, and a great opportunity. We get a look there at Sean Dickey, number 6 for Monroe. He's out of Aberdeen, Scotland.
Scotland's a nice place. I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. Actually, I played in ODP, which is like an Olympic team for the United States back in the day, and we were in Scotland playing a couple teams out there. So I had
He's
a good
got an
time.
interesting opportunity here. Five seconds now on the clock. Dangerous situation here. There's the kick, and it is for naught. So we are scoreless at the half. both teams with a couple of decent opportunities, but were not able to break through. So after 45 minutes of soccer, we are scoreless. And we are going to take a brief break, but we don't want you going anywhere because coming up at halftime, we have a special preview of a show that Montgomery College Television taped the other night. It's an interview between MC's Vanessa Zambrano and NPR's Jasmine Garst. And the subject is Lionel Messi, soccer, and immigration. So very fascinating conversation. We're going to give you a little preview here. So stick with us for that, and then we'll be back in about 10 minutes with the second half.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time, watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen, make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up, break you in then break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. You with Misty, we gon' get tipsy. Don't need a power shot.
Copy my steel. Face the fact that ain't no cap, I'm real. No cap, I'm real. The plastic bars from a copy my steel. Copy my steel. Face the fact that ain't no cap, I'm real. No cap, I'm real. The plastic bars from a copy my steel.
Thank you so much. So the conversation will be in English, but if you feel more comfortable when it's time to ask a question to do it in Spanish, that's totally fine as well. Our esteemed guest, Jasmine Garst, is an award-winning Argentine-American journalist living in New York City. She started her career as the host of National Public Radio's Ad Latino, a podcast about Latin music and culture. She's currently an immigration correspondent and focuses largely on women's stories. Last year, she created NPR's hit podcast, The Last Cup, La Última Copa, which is about Lionel Messi's road to winning the World Cup. Welcome to MC, Jasmine. Thank you for being here.
For having me. Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words, or you like?
No, I'm
go
just
right
so
to it.
happy to be here. I used to live in this area, and I have many friends who have studied here, and it's a really great institution. So I was very happy to accept this invitation. Thank you.
We really appreciate it. So let's get into it.
Sure.
Last year, you created the highly successful podcast, The Last Cup, about Messi's path to the World Cup. You focused on his relationship to Argentina, his condition as an immigrant, and from there, you explored your own story of immigrating to the U.S. from Argentina. In the process, you touched on the very universal experience of leaving home, yearning to go back, and being unable to in many ways, right? Because of you changing, the place changing, that kind of thing. Can you tell us about how and why you decided to explore that topic and how you got the idea of merging all of this?
Yeah, so I think, I had always been really interested in, whenever I spoke about Lionel Messi, I got two very distinct reactions. When I spoke to people from Argentina, from our country, about Lionel Messi, it would always be like, he's all right. And when I would speak to people in the US or anywhere else outside of Argentina, they would be like, he's wonderful, he's amazing, he's such a wonderful player. And it was like this very, like in Argentina up until really 2 years ago, he was just like, either the attitudes were either I don't care or he's kind of a disappointment. Mm-hmm. And then abroad, this other thing. And also I was covering immigration and I kind of kept hearing this story over and over again, to different degrees, obviously, like whether it was someone who had left by choice, left with a visa, come undocumented, which was, one day I really want to go back. And then I would also hear another part of that story, like part two, which was It wasn't the way I thought it would be when I went back. I had built it up in my head. And so I was really curious to tell like that part of the story. And then when I went back to Argentina, I wasn't sure how I was going to develop the story. And I was looking through my auntie's library, and she had this very old copy of the Odyssey, La Odisea. And the Odyssey is a story, it's like a Greek classic, and it's about a young man who leaves his home country, and he goes abroad, and he does amazing things, and everyone abroad is just like, wow. But his dream, his fantasy is that he's gonna go back home and be lauded as a hero. I don't want to ruin the Odyssey for anyone, but it doesn't go well. It is a Greek tragedy. He goes back home, and the Greek are really good about writing these kinds of stories. He goes back home, and people are like, "Oh, cool, yeah, that's nice, good job. I've moved on, or I've done something else. I waited for you for a while, and then I kept going with my life." And there was something about that story that felt, A, like I could identify with it, and B, I mean, no matter what the circumstance, I think for a lot of immigrants that I spoke to, whether it was the guy who was driving the Uber or the professor or whoever, there was that sense of, in my mind, time has stood still. Like the place I left is exactly the way it was when I left it. But in everyone else's mind, they've moved on. And so you're stuck in some strange, even when I went to Argentina, like I have this weird thing, I don't know if anyone can identify with, like I go back and I'm like, wait, the fashion is no longer like when I left it. They too have moved on from, low-rise jeans are back, unfortunately. But it's like, in your mind, the place is congealed, and you're gonna go back a hero. And Messi was very tragic because he kept trying to come back, and nobody wanted him. No one cared. And so it was kind of like a very classic hero's journey.
Yeah, which is also, it was a shocker for me as somebody not from Argentina, because the rest of us were like, Messi, of course, they're so happy, right?
Yeah.
Messi. And then as I hear you going on about the story, I'm like, wait, all these breakups with their Argentine selection.
Yeah.
Like I just, I think it's a shocker for a lot of us, but there was this very complicated relationship between Argentina and Messi that you explore very well. So you cover immigration.
Yeah.
So obviously this is on your mind. You're an immigrant, but this time you got to be way more personal than a reporter usually gets to be, or should be, right? Was that difficult to do? And was the process also in a way cathartic for you, in a way to process your own experience?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, when I proposed doing the last cup, like my plan, I had been covering the prison system, and estaba como muy quemada. I was just very like burnt out. Mm-hmm. And my plan was, I'm gonna do a podcast that no one's gonna listen to, and I'm just gonna like chill, because it'll be a podcast about soccer, and maybe like my family will listen to this, but I'm gonna get to really relax. Right. And I think I thought like this is very niche, like not a lot of people are gonna identify with this. And the opposite ended up happening, in which I still get a lot of letters from like people from, no sé, Brazil, alguien de Afganistán me escribió el otro día. I mean, just like who really can identify with this process. I think it was something, it was very personal. It's stuff that I had been thinking about for a very long time. In many ways, it's also, it's all these things I had covered. Like I used to be an economics reporter, right? And I had covered economics. I had covered the criminal justice system. And it was like a more personal way to look into it. It's not just a story about soccer. It's also a story about an economic system that was imposed on Argentina, and really on South America, in large part, in the Caribbean, and what that economic system, like the true human cost of that economic system, right? It's not just numbers and statistics and GDP and unemployment percentage. It's people who will say goodbye to each other and never see each other again. And so that was a very personal thing to go into. It's also, it's very personal in that I think the podcast really explores the intimate relationships that a lot of immigrants have with violence, which is something I have been thinking about for quite some time, whether it was, I worked a lot on the border, and in that sense, it was very personal, you know? I did have to ask, for example, my brother for permission to tell certain stories, right? But just even the violence of saying, you're gonna leave now and you're not maybe gonna say goodbye to people. So in many ways, it was a very intimate way of telling a story that I had been telling already through news. And it was very cathartic. I mean, I think I had to be in a place, there's this like stereotype of like the tortured writer, but I think the truth is I had to be in a place where I could look back peacefully and say, I'm gonna write about this thing that happened. But it was very cathartic, and I think it really brought together a lot of the themes that as an immigration reporter and an economics reporter I've been working on. Yeah.
And welcome back to the Rockville campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner Sonia Rada and Andre Anderson. And we're just about at the end of the halftime. I hope you enjoyed that little preview of a much longer and very interesting conversation between MC's Vanessa Zambrano and NPR's Jasmine Garst. And again, the topic of that show is Lionel Messi, soccer, immigration. Very fascinating conversation. So, speaking of fascinating conversations, folks, starting with Sonia, what do you think of the first half, and talk to me about what MC needs to do in the second half here?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I feel that the game was pretty even. I don't think either team had any clear-cut chance except for at the end there, Monroe had an opportunity, and New Ching, you know, I think that was a goal-saving foul that he had there, so that's great to have that mentality and that soccer IQ, if you will. But yeah, so for the second half, I think for either team, you know, I would like to see a lot more control in the midfield. I think we're missing a bit of the midfield in this game. I think that we're very talented. The Raptors have number 8, Joao Ribeiro, who is an excellent center midfielder, and I think we haven't seen enough of him. I think he has the ability to control the ball, control the pace of the game. So I would like to see a little bit more of that.
Andre, your thoughts on the first half and what lies ahead?
Yeah, I think Sonia really hit the nail on the head with everything she said. I do think the big thing right here is going to be MC's possession. I mean, they started the first half possessing the ball, dominating the game in that aspect. And then things kind of turned, as the Tides usually do, to Monroe's favor. And then the game kind of evened out in the 50-50 split. I would like to see them just kind of dominate, you know, the second half from the beginning to the end, score a couple goals, and, you know, move on to the next game.
So neither team had that many opportunities in the first half. The Raptors had a couple early. Their leading scorer, number 14, Carl Romberg, had a couple of good opportunities, wide on one, a little bit high on the other. That was really about it for the Raptors' opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, Amadou as well had maybe a chance, and maybe a chance and a half, but not too many, I would say, clear-cut opportunities from MC.
And number 4, AJ Tessimili, he's now playing in the center mid, so maybe Coach Braz is also thinking a little bit of a personnel change in the midfield to get a different look, and I believe Minhas is now playing wide right. So we'll see if that helps the Raptors gain a little bit more control of this game.
So to reset the stage for you, for everyone, the Raptors came into this one with a record of 8-3-1 on the season, 8-1 in Maryland JUCO. Monroe Community College comes in undefeated, 6-0-1 on the season. They tied their last match 1-1 against Mohawk Valley, but other than that, they have an unblemished record. Both teams can put the ball in the back of the net. 47 goals for Monroe this season in 7 matches. The Raptors with 51 goals in their 12 matches.
Here goes Carl. We know he's very talented on the ball, and a little bit too many touches there.
A little anxious, I thought.
Yeah, I think he needs to kind of get that shot off earlier. The thing is, he's very creative and he's very technical on the ball. But with that being the case, is that maybe he wants to take 4, 5, 6 touches because he knows he can, and he knows that the defender can't really stop him, rather than just taking like 2 and then getting the shot off. When you take too many of those touches, it allows the defenders to come back behind the ball and then exactly do what they did, and that's block it.
So that sets up a corner for the Raptors. Jason Guevara has been doing the honors today. This is the 3rd corner of the match for the Raptors. Just 1 so far for Monroe. And there's the kick. Oh, no. See if the Raptors can maintain possession.
Look at the skill.
That's beautiful.
That's a foul.
That's got to be a foul. He was pushed from behind.
The skill, man.
Foul on Sean Dickey. Good look at Karl Romberg from Germany. Both teams with a very international rosters. And there's the push down from behind. So the Raptors with the kick. Let's see who's going to take it. At number 3, Yosuke Ono. And number 12, Guevara. And Guevara takes it, gets it to Singh. He tries the header, nothing happening. Didn't get a lot on that header.
Now, this is probably where Monroe wants to be. They finally got down into MC's half. They have a throw-in. They're going to want to kind of keep the ball here. If they do lose it, pressure right away, lock them in, keep them exactly where they are. So we'll see if MC can endure this.
Well, and as we saw in the first half, they are an excellent passing team.
Gave it away pretty quickly.
Yeah, they didn't possess it long there as the Raptors get it back. For those of you just joining us, these two teams have a history. They played last year in the semifinals of the district championship tournament. The Raptors took that one 4-1. And as a matter of fact, the 2 second-half goals in that match were scored by the Raptors captain, Andres Javid. And Andres is here today. He, of course, has graduated from Montgomery College and has gone on to St. Bonaventure University. He is starting for their soccer team, and I believe you said he has 6 goals already this season, Andre.
Yeah, I think he has about
Oh!
Wow, that was very, very close.
That was very close. Romberg almost got that one, and Bowler breathes a sigh of relief.
Booth was able to get behind the defense and slot that ball back. It's unfortunate that Romberg wasn't able to put that away. Yeah, that was definitely Raptors' best chance so far.
Absolutely. Right on the doorstep. And they're going to try to keep it down there.
Yeah, but to go back over to Andres, Andres has about 6 goals this season for St. Bonaventure University, and also was just named the Athlete of the Week. He's been on a tear for his team, and Andres always has been, even when he was with us at Montgomery College, has been a very dedicated and hardworking student with the 4.0 GPA. Obviously, one of the best players in the country at the NJCAA level, with back-to-back leading the goals in the nation. On top of that, being, I think, either first or second in the nation in points as well. So it's incredible to see, type of players that Montgomery College produces, but not just athletes, but student athletes, and these players having great GPAs. And Andres ended up with a full ride at St. Bonaventure, so
which is a Division I strong, very strong program. He is here with his team. They are going to be using the Raptors pitch after this match to get a workout in. They're playing in the area this weekend. So it was great to see him, and he had a chance to talk to him for a minute or two. He's very happy. Said things are really going great. Romberg wanted something, not sure what, probably a call of some sort. Didn't get it. Good look at Damian Bowler, the keeper for Monroe. We're in the second half, and obviously we're still scoreless.
Even though it's October, the sun is out, and I'm pretty sure it's quite warm out there.
Yeah, I would think the players are pretty warm out there, and because it's kind of humid. It's in the upper 70s, mid to upper 70s right now, even though we're later on here in the afternoon, and it's a little bit humid. Not much breeze, if any.
Yeah, no, the flag isn't moving at all.
No, the flag is just laying there. So, and of course, these athletes are putting out a great effort. You really have to be fit to play this game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no hiding out there.
Oh, no. That's exactly why, I stopped playing a long time ago. You will, I can't be running this much anymore.
If you're not in shape, there's nowhere to hide on a soccer pitch. Or if you're hurt.
Yeah. Great ball. Oh, Carl should have ran into that. That was a great ball over the top.
That was by number 4, A.J. Tessellini, trying to find Romberg.
He's been all over the place. He started off at the right back, then he got moved to the right wing, and now he's playing in the midfield, and you can see that he's impacting the game for sure.
Raptors backline really has not been tested much except for that last play there in the first half and one or two other attacks, but for the most part they've been playing up and really haven't been all that challenged. But you could probably say the same thing for the back line for Monroe. Raptors have had a couple of good opportunities, including the one just a couple of minutes ago. Now here's an opportunity.
Great.
And that is a goal.
I was going to say great save, but
Morrow got his hands on
He
it.
did have his hands on it.
And then it caromed off the hands and bounced into the net. So an early goal here in the second half. Who are they crediting?
I think it was Brandon Johnson, number 7. Yes,
It was.
That's right.
Brandon Johnson, number 7, who is the leading scorer for Monroe coming in. I'm sorry, he's tied for the lead. He now has the lead.
He's now the leading scorer with 7, yes.
You were
Yes.
getting there. You're getting there.
I'll get there eventually.
You were right.
He's got 7 goals on the season.
And I think that Monroe's patience paid off. If you see the center midfielder picks his head up, doesn't just try to take a crazy shot, finds number 11, Liam Cowie, on the left, slotted ball through, and then Cowie is able to find Johnson in the middle for an easy tap-in.
Well, you know, the strange thing is, or the ironic thing, is that hearkening back to their match last year in the districts, one of the only score of the match by Monroe was by Brandon Johnson. So he's now scored on MC 2 years in a row.
He's a dynamic player. Plays out wide on the right. But right there, you saw he did cut in, making a run from the right-hand side to the middle to get onto that cross to score. So, dynamic player.
And there's a good shot of Andres Javid. Briefly.
I'm sure he would like to be out on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a tyrant for MC. They would love to have him.
Well, let's see what the Raptors can do here. There's still a lot of time.
Lots of time. Long way from the end of this match. Raptors would love to answer quickly. No doubt. Tassolini. Romberg.
Let's get a good cross in.
Biaggi. Oh. Just a little high on that set play.
Are they calling a free kick?
It might have been a handball.
Handball, yeah.
We'll
So,
take it.
A free kick for the Raptors after a handball call inside the box.
No, outside the
handball
box.
wasn't
Outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. See a replay right here.
So Yosuke Ono, Guevara takes it. Biaggi.
Biaggi's had a good game.
He has. He's solid. He's a hard worker as well. He get the shirt tucked in. Usually when you see, a player with a shirt tucked in, you know he's going to be running all day.
Oh, look at Romberg being held
That's
by
a yellow
number
card.
23, Dimitrios Kiras Nazis. And I'm sure I just botched that one. So, sorry, Dimitrios.
You got the first name right.
I got the first name right. And I'm going to let Sonia pronounce the last name because she played in Cyprus.
I'll try my best. Kyriasis, maybe.
Kyriasis. Both of my compatriots in the booth today have played soccer all over the world.
But you know what, Michael? We never talk about you and the excellent work that you've been doing here at MCTV since 2001. You are a living legend, and we are so happy and honored to be here by your side.
Well,
Very true.
you're embarrassing me, and
Now you know how we feel.
I just love it. One of my great honors was to be able to cover MC Athletics as much as I did, and I fought to cover more and was never satisfied. But any chance to cover MC Athletics was always a thrill for me. I just looked at it as a way to help the athletes and give them some attention and help them get scholarships and that
And
kind of thing.
you did help a lot because a few years back, you would have to do the coverage on your own. And a lot of the games that you shot, I can speak for myself, the coverage that you had allowed me to make highlight videos and help me go on to other opportunities. And I know I'm not the only one, so we appreciate you so much.
Well, that was one of the real benefits of being able to do it. Was unexpected, frankly, when I first started doing it. Was being able to help athletes move on to the next level, and it was just a real added plus.
Yeah, great work. I mean, I will forever remember when you interviewed me, you know, so like things like that definitely will have a lifelong impact on all the players, and they'll remember when they played in college and had, you know, the highlight of them on TV, or, you know, they had a media day where they're able to show their friends and family and things like that. So outstanding work, Mr. Brown, but also by MCTV as well.
Boy, that's for sure. As you saw that incredible drone shot, you see the wonderful work being done here by the MCTV production crew. It's just an amazing group of individuals, and they're never satisfied. They're always trying to be better. They stay on the cutting edge of everything to do with television and video production, which is an ever-changing field.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, just in the short amount of time that I was involved, how much things changed. Meanwhile, Raptors need to get something in the back of the net here.
They keep going vertically from the same direction where the ball has just come from. I think they could really push Monroe a little bit out of position if they found the midfield, switch the ball versus going the same side. I've seen that a couple of times from the back line, just playing vertically.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I'm a big component, of the ball on the ground. That's like kind of how I just enjoy football. Ball on the ground, tiki-taka, moving about that way. And if you do have to play those long balls, I do like to see them diagonal. So from a center back or from a center midfielder or whoever, a left back, right back, anyone, but going towards the wingers instead of playing it straight down the middle where the one forward has to go against two, you know, big, strong, athletic center backs. To, you know, ditto what you said, Sonia, I would love to see the balls kind of going more out wide, more so than just kind of going straight down the middle.
And I believe Oliver Skinner has checked into the game for Nathan Booth. So that's our third forward in the game.
That's the first, I believe that is the first we've seen Oliver in this one. And Oliver is among the team leaders in goals. He's in second on the team with 6 coming in.
Wow, great block.
Second on the team in points and second on the team in shots on goal, Oliver Skinner. Number 11 from England. Again, the Raptors did play yesterday. Monroe did not. Monroe hasn't played in several days. Could that have an effect, guys? What do you think?
100%. I mean, a day before, it's tough, you know, 90 minutes. And I'm pretty sure Coach Pedro was looking at the schedule and seeing a back-to-back game, and he was like, all right, maybe we're playing a team on a Thursday and a Friday. That Thursday we might have to maybe not play all of the starters, 90 minutes. It's a lot of different things like that. But regardless, you play 90, you play 50, you play 45. I mean, back-to-back days is tiring. You're going to bed sore, waking up still sore, then have to play again. That's always the worst. What do you think, Sonia?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not fun to play that way. You're obviously not at your best. I know that I had to play. It just shouldn't be allowed, Yeah. I feel like there should be a rule against, because you're also more prone to injury.
Mm-hmm.
because you obviously want to give 100% in the games, and your muscles might not, your mind might be saying one thing, but your muscles are going to say something else. So
Yeah. And of course the Raptors now, they played 2 days in a row here on the synthetic surface.
Yeah.
That takes a toll as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Oh, Skinner.
Oh. He
That
needed to get a cleaner strike on that.
He just didn't get enough on it. That was a beautiful kick. My guess is that this was a quirk in the schedule, and Pedro Braz, head coach for the Raptors, had to schedule this match because, as we've said, Monroe is from Rochester, New York. They probably making a trip down here, and they'll probably play at least one other match while they're down here, would be my guess. So Pedro, I know, always looking to challenge his team and always looking to improve the team's ranking. They need to play these D1 matches. And so it's not ideal. Now, granted, yesterday the Raptors had a rather easy match, so to speak, beating Hagerstown 10-0, which is probably equivalent to a 70-0 American football score. I mean, it's right up there at the.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a hard hit
yeah,
on
that
Romberg.
was tough.
And he went down. Nice sportsmanship there by Damian Bowler. I've seen that out of both teams today. It really has been, I think, a clean match. Not a lot of chippiness. Nothing cheap. And that's good to see. So
Yeah.
good look there at Carl Romberg,
I'm glad he's up.
leading scorer for the Raptors on the season with 17 goals. Tied for first in the country. But we are more than halfway through the second half, and the Tribune's on top of the Raptors 1-0 on a Brandon Johnson goal early in the second half. We were scoreless at half, obviously.
The Tribunes are doing their best to slow down the game a little bit. Obviously, they have a lead, a little bit of a cushion, so they're definitely growing into the game more and controlling it. But I still think the Raptors have an opportunity, and they just need to find a way to get a goal.
Yeah, I mean, 23 minutes left in this game. Seems like a lot of time, but it's not. So this is the time when MC needs to score now and then get that momentum and then score again. They want to get up as soon as possible and then put maybe another 2-3 on the scoreboard so that they can leave here with the win. But right now, Monroe's doing what they need to do to keep this lead. They're holding on to the ball. They're maintaining possession. And like you said, Sonia, it's kind of a slow-paced game.
There's a shot. No problem for Morrow.
And keep an eye out on Singh. He's limping. I think he kind of went into a tackle, and hopefully he can recover from that.
Sonia is referring to Ish Singh, one of the center backs for the Raptors, and also a co-captain, and one of the real heartbeats of the team.
Yeah, he has a fiery energy. Really good leader.
Yeah, he really helped set the tone. Kind of a coach on the field. And no call there as Romberg was thrown down by Anton Kelly. Raptors with possession. Raptors in white, Tribunes in the dark uniforms.
feel like now would be a good time for the Raptors to make a few subs. It seems like some of the players are a little losing the energy, and like Dre was saying, this is the time to put, get a goal in, and you need more energy. So
Do have a couple of Raptors warming up on the sidelines. Amadou Koita for sure. I'm not clear who the other.
That's Andres Rojas also warming up as well. I think it might be actually the tallest player on the team, or one of the tallest and one of the shortest, kind of warming up together.
Amadou Koita is a tall guy. He's hard to miss.
That's a foul.
And that's going to be a foul. And Tessalini.
Well, that was a good idea. They tried to go quick, but the ref made him come back.
So let's see what MC does here.
Sean Dickey pleading his case for Monroe. To no avail. You don't see many athletes winning arguments with officials.
No, never. I don't think there's ever been. Well, actually, I was gonna say I don't think there's ever been a time when, a player has argued with a ref and the ref has changed his mind. But then I have heard a story from back in the day when Michael Jordan actually, there was a foul called on Michael Jordan. And then he said that he was telling the ref, like, no, it's not a foul. And the ref said, are you sure? And he said, yes. And so the ref changed the call and listened to him. But it is Michael Jordan, so I could see how, that would happen.
Yeah, that might carry some weight.
Yeah.
Here's an opportunity.
Oh, wow. Great tackle.
Great tackle there on Skinner.
By Kiriasis. Did I attempt that better?
Not bad.
Kiriasis.
I'm going to go on a first-name basis with him. Raptors with the corner, and Ono going to do the honors this time. Yosuke Ono from Japan.
Good service.
Excellent. Oh, that was a close opportunity there for Minhas. He was heads and shoulders above everybody else. Good look at Daniel, number 15.
Here come the subs.
Here they come. Believe that's Andres and Amadou.
Andres Rojas and number 33 Amadou Koita have checked back in for the Raptors.
I believe Coach Braz has switched to a 3-back, so taking a defender out to try and create some more offense.
There's a shot wide by Romberg.
It's a good point. Playing 3 in the back.
Yeah, I think you're right.
How do you like that as a center back, Sonia?
I think playing 3 in the back is not bad, but you just really have to be on the same page and understand your roles, because you need to play a little bit more compact because you don't want to get split. But it's not bad, honestly. If you have your, in a situation like this, it's needed because you need to. You're not gonna score. Clearly, you need more numbers up. So I think it's needed. I think you need to be versatile enough to be able to
play it.
To play, yeah. But understand that you may be sacrificing something. So.
Yeah, no, I liked playing 3 in the back as a center back. It kind of gives you that, like, especially if you're playing the center of the 3 in the back 3, you're almost like a deep playmaking center back or a deep playmaking midfielder at times because it's just look how much space Brian has and it's just him. So, but it is a little bit more difficult on defense. Obviously, like you said, you got to play more compact so that the through ball doesn't split you. But at the same time, teams usually play like a 4-3-3 or like 3 up top. So it's almost like a man marking situation, which becomes a lot harder. That's a foul.
That's going to be a foul on Skinner.
And Monroe has been playing in a low block ever since they scored not necessarily parking the bus, but they're not pressing as high. So I think it's a good move from Coach Pedro.
Biaggi runs it down. We're down to our almost down to the 15-minute mark here. So far, just one goal in the match. That was by Brandon Johnson for Monroe early in the second half. Raptors have had a couple of good opportunities since then, but haven't been able to convert. Tessalini with a nice save there, but Monroe takes it. Good look there at Sasha Schneider from Lutzeburg, Switzerland.
I heard Switzerland's very beautiful.
I've heard the same thing.
It is.
You've been?
I lived there, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I played there.
Oh, that's right. You played in Switzerland.
It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
Wow.
That was one of your first stops out of MC, wasn't it, Sonia?
Yes. It was so nice going on away trips because you're on the team bus and you're literally driving through a postcard. It was
Yeah, I could only imagine.
you don't wanna fall asleep. You just want to keep looking out the window.
And I think I saw rooms, pictures of the rooms where they put you, and that was up in the mountains too, wasn't it?
Yes, that was for one of the. We made it to the finals, and we had to go stay overnight, and the views just were incredible. That was a great experience.
You're telling me that Switzerland has better views than Rockville, Maryland?
Well,
I
the
never
mountains
said
are
that.
a little higher.
Just different.
The mountains are a little higher than they are here in Rockville.
Yeah, no, I've never heard one bad thing about Switzerland, so definitely have to check it out one day.
Good view, good shot there of Amadou Koita for the Raptors. Raptors would love to see him get on the board. Anybody, frankly,
Yeah.
at this point.
And you know, he's been sitting for a while because he started the game, got subbed out, didn't come back in the first half. And then you add the 15 minutes of halftime and then checking in at the end. Sometimes that can be really, really hard to get your body going. Of course, he's very young, so
Yeah.
it's easier when you're young.
There's a shot wide. 1-0 Monroe.
This is not what MC would have thought they would have, in a situation they would have been in, but it is what it is, and they got to figure it out. There's a great ball over to Carl Romberg.
Battles. Raptors with the throw in.
Oh, wow. That was aggressive.
That was
to
an
say the
aggressive move there by Andres Rojas for the Raptors, number 20. And down goes Bowler. Damian Bowler.
I wonder if he has a Granny Smith apple in his pocket.
Sonia was referring to the last time we were here covering the men's soccer match between Montgomery College and Frederick. And we had a close-up on the Frederick goalkeeper who inexplicably pulled a Granny Smith apple out of his pocket during an injury situation in front of the goal. And we're all like, is that an apple? And I believe Sonia is the first to identify it as a Granny Smith. That was something I've never seen, and if these two have never seen it, then it's odd for a soccer match.
I'm now expecting the unexpected now.
Yeah. So ever since that moment, the Granny Smith apple has become the unofficial mascot of Montgomery College television.
Yeah. That's a great turn. Oh, man.
They just haven't been able to hold on to it.
No, the possession that they were, that they had in the first half has totally disappeared, especially in the second half. They haven't made more than, I would say, 3-4 passes that have connected.
And foul on Raptors. Get it going quickly. Down to Skinner. Offsides.
They're just being very predictable. They receive the ball, maybe play out of the back, and then the defense is always looking just to play that long ball. It just has become very predictable, and Monroe's ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is difficult as a defender to kind of track that ball when it's coming in the air to kind of, win out the header. But I would rather do that, having confidence in myself, and I'm saying myself as a player for them, having confidence in them and, being athletic and strong enough to win that ball in the air, than have to go against a team that's going to play the ball on the ground and pass it around me, That's way more difficult to defend than defend the header. So I think the game plan might need to change a bit for MC to kind of break down this Monroe defense that's been strong today, and as you mentioned earlier, Michael, one of the best defenses in the nation.
Yeah, they have given up less than a goal a match. They average .43 goals against.
It's really evident why. If you see any time that any of the Raptors have had the ball near the box, the 18-yard box, there's immediately somebody blocking the shot. You've seen them slide tackling, diving, not diving in a bad way, but as in slide tackling. And you can really tell why their defense is one of the top in the nation.
The Raptors have really only had one or two opportunities here in the second half. And only a handful in the first. There's still plenty of time.
Great touch. There goes Carl. And that's a PK. That's a PK. No, that's in the box.
Ooh.
No, that. Whoa. That.
Well, we don't have VAR here.
I know.
No.
But we do have these incredible cameramen from MCTV.
Yeah, we do.
We will be able to see the replay. Unfortunately, the
Here
ref.
it comes.
Yeah, that's in the
That's
box.
definitely in the box.
Let me open up this window and yell out to the ref.
Ask him if he'd like to see it again.
Yeah.
Because we can show it to you.
Well, maybe we can, integrate that into some of the next games that we do, or next season.
It would have to be a whole league thing, though. They wouldn't just allow one team.
It's like MC is the only school that has VAR.
Here it is.
Oh, wow.
That was a close one. Romberg had a lot on it. If they had called that in the box, then it's a PK.
Yep.
Then it's one-on-one.
A much higher chance of scoring a goal than it is taking a free kick.
Absolutely.
But here is the free kick one more time, and that was very close. You see Carl's reaction as well. He was like, oh, I wanted that one.
Oh, man. He plays with a lot of intensity.
He
a lot of
does.
passion.
He does. He's a very expressive player.
Yeah.
A good one as well.
And we are under 7 minutes to go. And Raptors really want to get on the board here.
And this is where Monroe's going to eat up as much time as they can every time the ball stops.
Oh, yeah. They're not in any hurry at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Koita. And the time is, the scoreboard is becoming another opponent for the Raptors.
Yeah, especially the way that Monroe's wasting time right now. I mean, they've seemed to perfected that.
Oh, they've got it down.
Yeah.
And, of course, the clock just continues to move on.
Booth is back in.
MC's ball.
Raptors now obviously in a rush.
Oh. Yeah, time is it's ticking down. They have to score now.
Yeah.
If they're gonna want to at least put two behind. See, look, here they go. This time wasting is no joke.
No, they're taking their sweet time. And I'm sure if MC were in their shoes, they'd be doing the same thing.
Hey.
It's part of the gamemanship.
It is.
It's definitely part of the game.
Yeah, I know I would be. You know, I might pull up for a cramp right now, one of those.
No, you can't do that.
Maybe you have to tie your shoe.
Yeah.
Under 5 minutes.
I think MC can use this game to learn from. Hopefully, you know, if they take a look back at the film and just find those areas, obviously, as it's coming down the end of the season, you're going to continue to be tested by opponents like this. So you can always use these experiences.
Absolutely. These are the types of teams they're going to face in the postseason, which, as we said earlier, is fast approaching. Raptors with just 3 regular season matches left. Then, of course, they'll have the Region 20 tournament. Should they win the regions, then they would advance to districts. So, and that's a 2-weekend situation. So, postseason right around the corner. And it'll be all D1 teams at that point. The Raptors play a mixture of D1 and D2 teams during the regular season, as does Monroe. But once you get to the postseason, it's all D1.
Yeah, so none of those games are going to be easy.
No. They'll all be tight, hard fought, physical.
Yellow card. Given out to Jason.
Guevara.
Yeah, Guevara. He did kind of come in with the studs up there.
That's just frustration at the end.
Yeah.
And that's Nishizono for Monroe, who was fouled.
Ooh. There's still time, though.
There is.
Oh. That's going to be a foul. Romberg was fouled, had his legs taken out from under him.
Yeah, this is where MC's going to push everyone up.
Yeah, they've got everybody up. Even Morrow is quite a bit up. Meanwhile, we're down to just over 2 minutes to go. And they are stopping the clock to lay down the law here, I believe.
Yeah, Brian Newchang, captain for MC, is seeming to, let the ref know, like, hey, we don't have much time left. I have to play tough.
And Anton Kelly, they were mixed up in it. Anton Kelly from Monroe.
Oh.
Ooh.
He tried a bicycle kick.
They missed the header.
Put it back in.
Here it comes.
Oh.
And number 22, Addis Tafis for the Raptors, ran into the keeper, Bowler.
Seems to be a big punt there.
Big punt.
We're looking for someone to flick the ball on. There's height on the field right now. A bunch of battles going on right now.
Oh, yeah. Just over 1 minute to go.
This is almost like when you're a kid, five-year-old,
Just
everyone
scrapping.
kicking.
Yeah, everyone's kicking, just
Everyone
scrapping.
following the ball. That's what it reminds me of. I mean, you're trying to do it's hard because you need to do whatever you can and things aren't flowing your way. But that was a good up by Bowler, the goalie, secure that ball. He's been good with his hands.
Yes.
He's been very good.
See replay right here. I mean, he went up strong.
Oh, that was no easy play either.
No. And he's not the tallest guy either, but
No.
he gets up there and he knows what he's doing.
He's powerful.
Very much so.
He's a strong-looking young man. He took that one like a free safety in football.
Yeah.
That last kick. Down to the 10-second mark. So it looks like it's not going to be the Raptors' day here. And that is that is it. We are all finished here on the Rockville campus of Montgomery College as the Raptors drop this one 1-0 to Monroe. Quick thoughts, Sonia?
Just something to learn from. It's a good game to learn from. Watch the film and just review, find out what the mistakes were, and just get better from here.
Andre?
Yeah, MC started off well, but throughout the game, instead of, continuing that and progressing to playing better, it kind of decreased, and they kind of let up today. So just like Sonia said, something to learn from. 3 games left in the season. They have to win the next 3.
Yeah, I would agree, and this will be the toughest of their remaining matches. So the Raptors fall 1-0. The only goal of the match was scored early in the second half by Brandon Johnson for Monroe. With the win, Monroe improves to 7-0-1 on the season, so they stay undefeated. With the loss, the Raptors fall to 8-4-1. It was a great match. It was a good match, very evenly played, but Monroe takes it with that goal by Brandon Johnson, who is their leading scorer. So that's appropriate. So for everyone at Montgomery College Television who did such a wonderful job today, we appreciate the great looks, the great camera work. The drone shots, there we go. Right on cue,
yep.
The beautiful drone shot. So for Sonia Rada, Andre Anderson, I'm Michael Brown. Thanks so much for watching NJCAA Men's College Soccer on MCTV.
We gonna